Hey guys, so I'm finally able to do the two review videos, but before I do the Royal Rumble 2019 video, because that one will by far be the longest, first we'll start with the most recent Smackdown Live, which was this past Tuesday, so I will do my Smackdown Live review, and yeah, so let's start off right off the bat with Becky Lynch coming out, and she was still limping, like having that brace on her left knee and still coming out, walking slowly because because I'll talk about that later. But since her knee's still hurting, she limped to the ring, but then she talked about how she went to Raw to challenge Ronda to a match at WrestleMania. And God, I'm still so happy how that worked out. Okay, but I'll talk about that again later. But as she was talking and she was saying that like the crowd was chanting Becky, Becky the whole time, and then they did a "You deserve it" chant, and so she thanked them, and she was basically just talking about like how she was proud of where she started and how far she come, and now she was finally went from the kickoff show to WrestleMania to being able to main event WrestleMania. And then Charlotte came out. I knew the entire time Charlotte was going to come out. I kept looking at my dad and being like, just wait till Charlotte comes out and starts complaining. She came out, and immediately she started like condescendingly just clapping, and then she like congratulated Becky. It was like, you weren't even in the match, and yet you won. And then she takes credit for Becky becoming the man because she said you became the man because you learned from the queen, and I'm so happy I got to help you do that. And the whole time Becky's just like smiling at her, like the entire time, just smiling, like kind of nodding or whatever, just listening. And then when Charlotte finally like stopped talking, Becky just smiles, puts the microphone up like she's about to say something, then nails Charlotte with a punch, like right in the mouth, like just nailed her. And so Charlotte's like feeling where Becky had just punched her, and then Becky just like walks out of the ring, very pleased with herself, leaving. But Charlotte doesn't take that. Charlotte gets up, runs out of the ring, chases Becky, and then just goes after her, and they start brawling. Officials come to break them up. That Charlotte on one side, Becky ends up on the other. Charlotte notices that Becky is limping still on her leg even more, and that she's literally trying to go after her on one leg. So Charlotte immediately goes after Becky's leg, and they continue brawling a little bit more. Finally, they're separated, and then the officials are helping Becky, but at the same time trying to stop Charlotte, and yeah, it was a chaotic start. And I really, really liked it. I enjoyed it immensely. Even though it was a little weird, but I mean, it was a little bit weird, but you know, I like it. I love Becky, and there's so many things I could say, but still, that's for the Royal Rumble review. So, all I can say is I did like the segment, and I did like that Becky was still selling appropriately her injury from Royal Rumble, and that just how happy she was, and how happy I was for this. Like, it was just, I loved it, and I love seeing. I know that Becky and Charlotte's feud isn't over by a long shot, and that Charlotte's probably going to end up being involved in the Becky Ronda match somehow, and just, but, it's okay. We'll deal with that when that time comes, but I did enjoy the segment overall. But next was Shinsuke Nakamura versus R-Truth for the United States Championship match. This match was like just like a couple minutes, and like R-Truth got some offense, Shinsuke got a bunch of offense, but then the ending was really weird. Like, R-Truth rolled up Shinsuke, but as the ref was like doing the 3 count, Shinsuke kicked out and his shoulders were off the mat, but the ref just kept counting. And neither one of them knew that the match had ended. So R-Truth like goes for a kick and Shinsuke ducks, and like this whole time Shinsuke's lost because the ref didn't notice that Shinsuke had like not just kicked out, but that his shoulders were off the mat. And like, and R-Truth didn't know he'd won. But when he realized it, he was so happy. But Shinsuke's looking at the referee like, I tapped. I am like, no, not like I kicked out. I kicked out. But they were looking at the footage also. But yet, yeah, R-Truth was the new champion, and they showed the footage back multiple times. And like, I was looking at this, and I'm like, this seems fishy. And my dad's like, he kicked out. He kicked out before the ref even got to 3. And I saw the footage. I'm like, yeah, it was like so close, but it, like Shinsuke kicked out. He was out of there, but it's just okay. So that was just weird, but I did enjoy seeing how happy R-Truth and Carmella were when R-Truth won the United States Championship. Like, that was very nice. I did enjoy that. And but then Rusev immediately came out with Lana, who had like a cast like boot on her ankle, just like limping out, so mad, accompanying Rusev, who I guess is just heel now. So okay, I don't really understand anything. I don't get what was just happening. Like, first R-Truth wins, and then Rusev apparently is just heel now. And he like says that he had lost the championship, so he deserves a rematch. He says he can't get one with Shinsuke. He wants one with R-Truth. R-Truth doesn't really answer right away. So like, but for some reason Lana pushes Carmella, and so Carmella like pushes her back, and then Rusev like gets mad, like goes to say something to Carmella, but R-Truth immediately gets in front of him like, hey, what are you doing? Like, no, don't do that. And then Rusev's just yelling at him, so R-Truth is like, let's do this match right now. And in like 2 minutes, R-Truth rolls up Rusev and gets the win again, even though this time Rusev shows her on the mat. But it was like, what? So R-Truth retains, won the United States Championship, and retained it in the same like 5 minutes. So okay. But then like Rusev is mad, angry, and in the ring. R-Truth and Carmella are like out of the ring, like because R-Truth got out and like they were leaving. Then Shinsuke just runs down and attacks R-Truth and then throws him into the ring. And then just like, and Rusev is just kind of like just looking at R-Truth and looking at Shinsuke. And Shinsuke is just looking at R-Truth like, at Rusev like, go. So Rusev starts beating on him, and then Shinsuke starts, and then they're like teaming, and then like, so like Shinsuke holds up Rusev, so that, holds up R-Truth so that Rusev can get the Machka kick, and then R-Truth's down, and then Rusev picks up R-Truth this time so that Shinsuke can do the Kinshasa to him, and then apparently they're a team now, and I'm just like, what? So I don't understand anything that's going on. Like, this confuses my head. I don't know what to even make of it. Like, I think my favorite part of this whole, like, 10 minutes was R-Truth winning the United States Championship, just because I love him, and even though he is not all there, like, he is a weird guy, but I love it. It's a kind of personality I just love so much. I love him, and so happy for him. And also, I keep saying this, but I'm so happy to see Carmella, like, showing off, like, more of her, like, true, just happy, funny self. Like, I just love her and R-Truth together. Like, their chemistry, I didn't know it would be this good, but it's great, and I love it. It's just R-Truth being champion now. Like, congrats, man, but what does that mean for Shinsuke? Like, Shinsuke and Rusev, I guess they're teaming next week, probably? Like, I'm so confused, but what are you gonna do? I don't really know, but R-Truth won and all that, so yay! But next, Becky's like leaving the arena, like she has her bag and she's still limping even harder now. And Kayla like runs up to her like to interview her and is like, hey, like, you wouldn't let the medical people like examine you? And she goes, and Becky just goes, I'm fine. I don't want to be put on the shelf again. And then gets in her car and leaves. So obviously Becky is way more hurt than she lets on, but she doesn't. Obviously, she knows that her injury is bad enough that she would be taken out of the match, and she doesn't want that, so she's not gonna like have people check on her. But I'm saying, like, I was saying this to Dad. I don't know if anyone else thought this, but I don't know if I'm just, like, being crazy or whatever, but I heard that with TLC she wasn't, like, fully cleared, like, the broken nose was gone, but the concussion was still a little bit there, or the concussion was gone, but the broken nose hadn't completely healed yet, or something. So, like, part of me felt like, are they doing this leg thing because she might still not be 100% yet? And that she's just doing a couple matches and then they write her off again so she can heal the rest of the way? Like, but I'm not quite sure about that, so I don't really know. But, just, if that's the case, then it's like, okay. But if her knee is actually hurt, then it's like, dude, you gotta get that checked. But I love Becky, and yeah, she's the man. She's awesome. And I just hope she's okay. And I hope she's serious when she says she's okay, because it doesn't seem like it. But I hope she is, because her and Ronda, man, that's going to be an awesome match. And let me just say before I go on, because Asuka's not in this episode at all. And let me just say that bugs me, because she retained the SmackDown Women's Championship at Royal Rumble. Like, shouldn't you have her on SmackDown? Instead, no, we found out she was in a dark match against Charlotte. Great. Next time, it's like, what? But, okay. Just, okay. But I love Asuka, and I hope she's on next week. So, anyway. Next, it's Rey Mysterio versus Samoa Joe. But first, there's R-Truth backstage getting checked out by the officials. But he also doesn't want to get checked out by the medical personnel either, because Carmelo's with him, but he just keeps saying, I'm fine. I'm the United States champion now. I'm fine. And I'm like, yes, you are the United States champion, but no, I don't think you're okay. But I just love that, because it's like R-Truth, like, just silly, but angry at the same time, but also like, I won, and I like that. But then we get to, once again, Rey Mysterio versus Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe doesn't come out. Instead, Zelina Vega comes out. And throws Rey off, because she's just like, I know you're the one who got me banned from ringside with your match against Andrade last week. And then she's talking about, like, are you really that distracted by me? And I'm like, what is going on? What? And Rey's just staring at her the whole time. And then Andrade, in a very nice suit, by the way, just comes and attacks Rey from behind. And ends up, like, doing the hammerlock DDT on him and knocking him out. And then Zelina and Andrade are in the ring together happy. And then the Rey Mysterio Samoa Joe thing never happens. That match just doesn't take place, and they never mention it again. Like, it was never even supposed to happen. Even though it kind of was. But, okay. Not much I can say about this segment, really. Because, I mean, all I can really say is I love Rey, and Zelina is a great talker, and Andrade had a nice suit. That's all I can really say about that. So let's just move on and get to Rusev and the Good Brothers backstage. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. It showed like Rusev like getting the stuff together. Lana's nowhere to be found. You would think that Rusev would like be with Lana or something, since she did seem to get hurt when Carmella pushed her. So you think he would be with her, but nope. And so, like, Luke and Carl are behind him, and they're like, that wasn't cool, man. Like, you shouldn't do that. Like, that wasn't cool. Like, because they didn't like the fact that they're like, R-Truth is outnumbered. Like, you and Shinsuke going out 2-on-1, that's not cool, man. And then Rusev made this cool quote where he's like, okay, why don't you guys mind your own business? Like, shouldn't you be back in catering? Or something. And I'm just like, burn. Because, like, they're barely ever around. And they took offense to that. And then they wanted Rusev and Shinsuke versus them. So, suddenly Shinsuke is just next to Rusev out of nowhere. He wasn't in the room before, but now he is. And he says something in Japanese, because I could not understand it for my life, because I don't speak Japanese. I'm starting to learn it. I'm starting to learn Japanese, but I don't know anything yet to know even remotely what he said. But he said something, And then the Good Brothers left, and then Rusev looked at Shinsuke and was like, fine, I'll tag with you one time. But don't screw me. And I'm like, what? This is the guy who, like, inadvertently hurt your wife. It's like, what? What is? I don't get Rusev lately. I'm like, and I'll talk about that more in the Royal Rumble review, but I don't get it. Oh god, he confuses me. So the way he's acted lately, like Sunday and Tuesday, it just has me a little confused. I'll talk more about that in the next video. But first, let's move on, because The Miz and Shane are backstage, and they're walking to the ring, and Miz asks Shane if he really had something good for them for their tag team celebration, and Shane assured him that he did. And then next is, first they show Paige and The Rock at Sundance, because they're promoting Paige's movie, Fighting With My Family. And I actually kind of want to see that movie, because I'm interested. I'm actually kind of intrigued. And then it was The Miz and Shane's tag team championship celebration. First I got in the ring, and as they were talking, then Shane showed a video package of, how The Miz and Shane became to be a tag team, and then it accumulated with them winning the tag team championships, and Miz was touched, you could tell, but Shane was like, that's not all. And he goes, your dad is here. And he brings out Mr. Miz. And so he comes out, and he says to Miz, Mike, I love you, and I'm so proud of you. And they hug, and you can tell that was just like a real sincere moment between Miz and his dad. And at this point, it was more like Mike and his dad just sharing a little moment in the ring together. But it was really sweet. That, I will say, that was pretty heartwarming. I enjoyed that. It was very heartwarming. I liked it. And then, he left, and Shane said, now that was the fun side, but now we have to get back to business, because we have to defend these titles. And we need to see who our next opponents are going to be. So there's going to be a match. And the match was a Fatal 4-Way Elimination Tag Match between the Usos, the New Day, Heavy Machinery, and The Bar. So that match was made for right after the break. But first, when we came back from commercial, Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose were backstage. Sonya and Mandy, just declared themselves for the Elimination Chamber tag team match. They don't have to do a qualifying match or anything, I guess. Okay. That really shows you how great the tag teams are being done. They can just declare themselves. So it's like, oh, alright. And so they ask Mandy, why she'd been targeting Naomi. And then they show this clip from Tough Enough, where Naomi and Sasha and Tamina were part of Team Bad. Beautiful and Dangerous. And, where Naomi was, calling Mandy weak, just being like, I don't know if you have what it takes to be here, and, they were doing bumps, and then she told Tamina to squash Mandy from the top rope, because it was Tough Enough, the competition show where literally they have to, show you the reality of what's going on with the wrestling and stuff, being if you want to be here, this is what it takes and stuff. So literally they were just telling the girls, how it was, but it's cool how they use that in, storyline wise. I like that. But then Mandy is trying to cry. Her eyes aren't even wet. Nothing is happening. It's not working out very well. But she said that she developed a complex after that, and that her boyfriend ended up not being able to handle it, so he broke up with her and stuff. Oh, okay. Okay. So now she's out for blood, and her and Sonya want to win an Elimination Chamber. Okay, great. Aside from the fake crying, that was really, really bad. That acting was not very good, I must say. But aside from that, I did like seeing that, inside look, like adding a little bit more fuel to the story. Like, I like that. But then we get to the four-way. Heavy Machinery did really well in this match. Like, they eliminated the New Day from the match, which I thought was pretty interesting to see. Like, the match, there's so much going on that there was, like, Heavy Machinery's Otis and New Day's Big E, like, just, like, had a standoff at each other, and they kept, like, doing the same move to each other and stuff. It was cool. It came down to the Bar and the Usos, and as much as the Bar tried, the Usos pulled off the win, and I love this. I love seeing this. I keep saying, I even told my dad, like, the Usos need a push. Like, they need to win this match, because it should not be the Bar again. Like, they need a push. And so, hopefully this is their push, and I really hope it is. And also, the Miz and Shane were watching backstage, and sitting watching backstage. Miz's dad is just gone. I guess he went back home or something. But they're watching, and they seem pleased with the result. They just looked at the tag belts, and then back at the TV. May I just add that from here to the rest of the show, ever since the Mandy Rose thing, we had to listen to Corey Graves constantly, over and over and over again, talk about Mandy. Being like, I messaged Mandy, I texted her, and she told me she's doing okay with a frown face or something. It's like, Corey, please shut up. There's a match happening. Can you talk about that? Maybe call the match a little bit. Like, Tom and Byron are trying to call a match, and Corey's just, like, talking about Mandy the entire time. It's like, it was getting old, like, really quick. I'm like, okay, will you quit? Just stop. It's so ridiculous. And I'm like, okay, yeah, thank you. Okay. Please stop now, please. And also, he was getting really mad at, like, Miz's dad and stuff. And even Tom was like, I thought you liked Miz. What's going on? He's like, and Corey's like, no, I don't have a problem with Miz. It's his dad. It's like, there's a heartwarming moment. Just let it go. But, okay, I just had to bring that up because it's like, oh, seriously, Miz. I mean, seriously, Corey, please stop. But the Usos won. That's awesome. So happy. And then last thing was Daniel Bryan wants to change the WWE climate, otherwise known as he finally has this new title belt that he promised he would get if he won at TLC. So I keep wondering when this belt is going to come. So he's talking about it, and at first he talks about how, like, someone won at Royal Rumble, and the crowd chants Becky. That's so funny. And he's like, no, I did, which means you did, and your children, and your children's children. And I'm like, what's going on? And he talks about how, like, his title belt means excellence, but also excess. And he talks about how, like, the belt's leather came from, like, cows. And he likes to think that the belt came from a cow named Daisy. So there's a Daisy chant that starts with everyone shouting, thank you, Daisy. And then Daniel has a trash can, and he throws away the belt. But before that, he'd introduced Eric Rowan, who's simply just called Rowan now. Who's, like, holding something over his shoulder, just walking like normal clothes. And the O in his name is, like, a recycling logo now. But, okay. But after he threw it away, he told Rowan to reveal the new belt. Oh, God. This belt. Even my dad's face was like, what is that? Because it was like, I'm like, wood? You used wood? And I guess he said it was helm? Helm? Is that what it's called? Hemp? Or hemp, I think? But he said it was from oak that had fallen naturally. Okay, great. It was just so tan. It's just so weird. And he likes that belt better. AJ Styles comes out and he's like, did you smoke the oak that belt came from? And Daniel Bryan's just like, no! It was, like, funny. And, like, AJ wants to talk to Daniel Bryan, but Randy Orton interrupts. And then they go right to commercial, so we don't hear anything Randy has to say. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, I'm just very confused. Like, I'm just, I'm just confused. So they go back from commercial, and Mustafa Ali is going down the ramp, and I see that Jeff's in the ring now. So it's like, what is going on? So I don't even know what Jeff said. I knew he talked because he had a microphone in his hand. So I'm like, oh, okay. But Mustafa Ali is talking, and he starts to say something. And Randy's like, weren't you thrown out by a woman in the Men's Royal Rumble? Like, you just go away. And Mustafa Ali did not find that funny. And so they're like talking to each other, and then Samoa Joe comes out and just, I don't know if it was scripted or not what he was saying, but he was just going off at everyone. Like, he tells Randy that when he goes after him, it will be face to face or something. Tells Jeff to act like it's an AA meeting and just stop talking, which actually seemed to make Jeff laugh a bit because just the way he delivered it was brilliant. And then he says something Mustafa Ali, and then he walks to AJ and he just says, so how's Wendy doing? And then AJ punches Samoa Joe, and then they all start fighting. Daniel and Rowan get out of the ring. And then Daniel stands on top of the announce table, and he's like, hey, none of you are fighting. None of you are going to get my championship. None of you are going to fight for this. And then Triple H, like, appears on the Titantron. He's like, hey, guys, Daniel's right. None of them are going to be getting the shot. All of them will be. Because then he announces that everyone is going to fight in the Elimination Chamber at Elimination Chamber for shot at the title, including Daniel. So obviously 6 people are out there, so I should have known that's what it was. But yep, that's what it is. And then the show just ends with everyone just brawling. But I really love is like at the very end, like they all brawl, and then they just show Jeff sitting there, like, just kind of like, what is going on? It's like not really knowing anything. They get up the ramp, and Rowan seems like he's about to go after Randy, and the place is just like, boom, over. So, okay, that was SmackDown Live. A pretty good show. I'm really mad that Asuka wasn't on it at all. Like, I just kept waiting till the end. I just kept looking at the clock, which, by the way, SmackDown went over 10 minutes. It went over 10 o'clock. It went a little bit over 10, so I'm like, oh, okay. That was a surprise. I didn't really expect that. But, yeah, I did not like the fact that Asuka was not on it. That's the only real downside I had. Also, the fact that it was a very talkative show. But I hope that next week they start really building up to Elimination Chamber. But yeah, very glad I got this under 30 minutes. So I'm gonna go, and I will see you in a little bit with my Royal Rumble 2019 review video where I have a lot to say. So I will see you in a little bit. Okay.